Don't fade me, bro. This is the WeWin Sports Podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the WeWin Sports Podcast. Monday was a great day for me financially, that is. I even had both winners on Monday Night Football, Atlanta and Minnesota. However, it was a rough day for me poker-wise as I bubbled. The World Series of Poker Super Main Event with 208 players left. I had to last a mere one more spot to make $50,000. Instead, I lost my chips, and then after losing them, with cameras everywhere you could see, they immediately interviewed me asking how I felt. And then they said, Phil, there are 3 more all-ins. You have to stay here and wait. You may win $25,000 or $30,000 or maybe a little bit more if all 3 go broke. Now, whilst listening to the first player who survived, which took a couple of minutes, Daniel Negreanu made his way over to interview me and ask how I felt. How do you think I felt, Daniel? I just fucking bubbled. Now, the second all-in plan survived as more reporters accosted me. Finally, the third player was all in and survived, meaning all 3 had survived. Then they announced to everyone in the room, "You're in the money," and the cheering began. The whole room cheering, meaning all 3 had survived, and I get no money, but they're all cheering, not against me. They're just happy that they cashed for $50,000. So there I was with a room full of cheering people, stone cold bubbled the $50,000 buy-in. I'm going to repeat, despite that, I really did have an amazing day financially. Okay, Mike Mattisell, I'm going to count that as my rant. What's your rant, Mikey?
Well, my rant is I played 2 bullets in the WPT championship. Day 1, I literally won the luckiest hand I've ever won in my life to double with like 6 hours left in the day, so pretty early in the day, against a tight guy who raised with, and I called with 3s, and 2 other people called, and it came 9-5-3 with 2 clubs, and the tight guy bet, so I know he has an overpair, so I raised it, made it 21,000. He moved in for 80. I snap call him, and he shows me 3 9s. And it ran off club, and I won the pot with the 3 of clubs. And I said to myself, this has never happened in my life, and this is a sign that this might be my week. I then proceeded to win 0 pots in the next 6 hours, only taking blinds and antes to survive. Had 170 with an hour to go, and went broke with 4 hands left in the day. I then bought bullet number 2 on day 2, which I went broke with. Boy, 40
Mike, that was a really interesting story. I'm glad you told us. I did like the 3 threes. Was yes. Okay. Now, for context at home, people, the reason we're talking a little poker, I'm playing the Super World Championship down here in the Bahamas, and Mike's playing the 100 million guarantee World Poker Tour. So we really do have some. It's very rare for us to be playing in these spots. Now, I want to say this. Hopefully, we can move into sports a little bit. And Mike had a great week on our. He won 1 or 2 games 2 weeks ago, 1 or 2 games 3 weeks ago, 1 or 2 games last week, and then this week he won a whopping 4 out of 10 games. Now I looked at the standings. There's 100. Yeah, he won 4 out of 10. Cantu. It's an amazing week for him so far. Yeah. Let me say this: Mike. We have standings. We're going to post a picture, right? Mike is second from the bottom. David Woodley told me he's 21 picks below 500.
Danny, will you go ahead and post Mike's record right now while we're at it?
Woodley, what do you got, Woodley?
We had to get Danny involved early.
Woodley,
today.
you're on mute, but when you come off mute, we want to hear your rant.
In all reality, of the 3 games I bet this week, I won 2 of the 3, which is good because I had Tampa Bay, I had the Bills. And I wanted to bet the Bills over. I said I got to go over with the Bills because there's no way this game's going under, but I didn't bet the over, I mean. And then I fell for the fucking trap, and I knew it. I've been saying it for weeks. The best team in football are the Eagles. And
what is going on here?
And with the line being 5.5, I fell for it.
Mike,
another
I
one.
really
You had
don't
another
understand.
one,
You didn't
too.
mention any of the. You didn't tell the people at home who exactly you bet. You didn't tell them what. Woodley, just go. Woodley, go. I mean, that's unusable.
You know who he did like? You know who he did like? He liked the Bears, because we had that
loved the
one, me and
Bears.
him, and
You-
just
I
another,
had
the Bears.
just
I didn't have him in my top 5 picks.
Okay, it doesn't count that. Just another, another 18-point victory where the wrong team won, according to Mike. I mean, again,
No,
once
no,
again
no,
last night.
that weren't the
Once
wrong
again
team.
last night.
The
Vikings are
Bears
up.
gave it away in the first half. I mean, once they
Vikings are up.
left all the points on the field, they were dead. And then
Vikings
then
are
when
up.
they could have made it 13-6 and they gave away, they were terrible. They were horrible.
Vikings are up 10-0, right? They throw it to Jefferson, who has the easiest catch of all time. He drops it. He'll drop that maybe one other time in his whole career, right? Variance, whatever. So
Bro, he's going
I
to
think
catch
they
that
go
ball
into
49 out of 50 times. It was a wide open
Well,
touchdown.
and they go into
it was 10-0, but the line should have been 3. It should have been 3-3 because they were like at the 25-yard line, and the asshole imbecile fucking Caleb Williams knows that they're blitzing on 3rd and 10, and he gets strip sacks, and all he has to do is hold on to the ball. They kick a field goal. Instead, the Vikings got 7 the other way, and it was
here's the
game,
thing-
set, and match.
Here's the thing with Mike when he's watching a game, and I think Monday Night Football needs to put him on because it'll just be entertaining. Because like if he's on the one side,
His
the
team's
Vikings
always
got,
supposed to win, Woodley, always.
Sam Darnold plays amazing, right? He converts at 3rd and 15. Mike's like, that doesn't count. That shouldn't happen. They stop him on a 4th and 3rd.
when
that
it
doesn't
was
count. That doesn't
You
count.
do know that when it was 13-3, it was 1 turnover each, and it was 211 yards to 203 yards at that time. And then because they kicked the field goal, and instead of being 13-7, then they gave up back-to-back. It was game over. They quit again.
Mike,
Again, they won by 18.
I think you're at the right side with the Bears, Mike. I really think.
No, I never said that.
No, yes, you did, Mike.
It's
You
exactly
said
what you've been
multiple
saying the
times.
last 5
Bears
minutes.
are the right side.
I-
you were
listen,
unlucky. They
I-
only lost
It was
by-
supposed to be
Forget
What was the final
3-3.
with me last night? Was it
No.
20?
I don't count the 1,000 I bet with you. Okay, I bet 2,000 on 4 games this week. Okay,
Why do you not count that 1,000?
Because I just did it because he wanted action, and I was bored to death. Okay, but it would never have been one of my bets. Okay,
No, let me tell
Okay,
you what Mike was saying in group chat last night.
No.
That's 2 straight drives. That's 2 straight drives. The Bears have went to 1st and goal at the 2. They got nothing. They're so unlucky. They should be winning this game.
Okay,
That's what I remember, Mike.
And they should have
So,
been.
Mike,
Okay,
Mike,
let me
so
ask
the best
you
part
this.
about Mike
Okay,
is they're 12-2 now, and Mike
They're
still
tw-
refuses to acknowledge their
No.
who they play a winning record.
the
Mike,
three, they played
beat,
3.
They
Oh,
beat the
stop
Packers.
it! They played 3 teams with an offense. The Rams got 30. The Packers got 29. That was with Love coming off an injury, who threw 3 picks in the first half, and that's
There's
why they were
always-
way behind. And they gave up fucking 31 to Detroit. And the rest of the teams they played are a combined like 52 games under 500. So don't give me that shit.
Mike's still upset that the Vikings missed that last-second field goal to the Lions that would have beat them, and then they have one real loss to the Rams.
Listen,
Sam Darnold. Listen to the stats.
No.
Sam Darnold is just the 3rd QB in NFL history to reach 3,500 passing yards, 29 touchdown passes, and 100+ passer ratings in his first 14 games with a new team. And I send this.
Cool.
Mike's like,
Can we go
what's
on?
it against a team with a winning record?
Since
Woodley?"
we're doing that, let's go over the teams that this dog shit team has beat. Ready?
Wait,
Let's
Mike,
go, 'cause I know-
not now. We'll come back to it.
They beat the Giants.
We're going
They
to be
beat
talking a lot of Vikings and Seahawks
Mike, let me
football
tell
today
you
'cause they
something
play
else,
each
Top.
other.
Mike, let me just say this. You and I were right about something. These 2 idiots, Cantu and Woodley. Yeah, I always call people idiots when they're really
They
smart.
hit the over. They hit the over. They hit the
These
season
2
over, so-
idiots, Mike. They talked about how great Seattle
I've got
was.
under
Green
8.5
Bay came in and
minus plus
smacked them.
146. I'm going to win that bet. Watch.
There's 36% chance that Seattle, this team who Woodley and Cantu, the Woodley who is the Seattle homer. Okay,
I
guys.
told you their offense sucks.
Okay,
Their
guys. Today we're
offense sucks.
gonna give our 30-second rants. Woodley's basically a professional sports bettor with great knowledge, sharp takes. Cantu has some well thought out takes as well. Seems to know a lot about the Kelsey verse, but there's not much this week. Cantu also loves Seattle, his big weakness. And Mike the Mouth knows sports and studies NFL at least 30 hours a week. He is as cold as I've ever seen anyone ever. I mean,
cold.
there's
So
127
Danny, can you
people
put
in our
some ice
league.
cubes?
put up ice cubes. He's 126th out of 120s. It's unbelievable. Now, Cantu, do you have a 30-second rant, or are we going to picks?
God, today's, I would say, the second biggest tournament of the year behind the arguably, depends who you talk to, but I think it's the second biggest behind the World Series of Poker main event. Then there's the World Poker Tour main event championship. I just busted that. I feel like I made it barely into day 2. I feel like jumping out of a 3rd-story window right now. I think that's about the only thing that would make me feel better. Oh.
You can't, I mean, folks, we're talking poker because these are big tournaments. These are like the one that I busted last night is $50 million guaranteed. The one they're playing in Vegas. So we're down a little bit, but it doesn't mean that we're out. Okay. Now I'm coming to David Woodley for his number 1 pick.
You know where we're going.
Look, Minnesota Vikings -3.
Yeah, at Seattle. Mike likes Seattle in this. Mike, this is.
I do like
Seattle. Do you trap them? Look at this.
This is a really good spot for Seattle. This is a good spot.
Mike, you and I talk about how Seattle sucks against the great teams all year, and now you're switching to Seattle?
They're not playing a great team. They're playing a team that's beat nobody.
They're only 12-2.
Mike, so Sam Darnold's been great all year. The Vikings defense is top 3. They just smoked the Bears. They have 4 games. They have 4 wins this year where they won by 17 or more. Mike said that Darnold hasn't done anything against teams with winning records. They played Houston, Green Bay, Detroit, and the Rams. They're 2-2 against those teams, all playoff teams, right? Sam Darnold combined in those is 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a combined QB rating of over 120. So
Houston sucks.
They have a good defense. They have a great defense.
They got against the shitty teams they play.
They beat Houston by 27.
Everybody beats Houston.
Mike, you still have to play what's in front of you. You have
Mike,
to play the schedule.
Mike, you have to let us talk. I'll go to you next.
The Vikings are going to be in the Super Bowl. The Vikings are going to be in the Super Bowl. They'll be able to 30 points versus whoever who'll be like, they lost the Rams 37 weeks ago. They fucking suck.
All right. Okay, wait. I'll bet you 10,000, my 10,000 to your 5,000 that the Vikings are not in the Super Bowl. I'm laying 2-1.
Of course.
What are the math? What is it? 4-1?
Like,
where is it?
Shoot.
I'll tell you what. I'll take the Eagles. I'll lay 2-1, and anybody else no bet. How do you like that?
I'll look it up. Anyways, the Vikes are rolling no matter what Mike says. I mean, that team is defensively, listen, they're top 2 or 3. They have the best run defense in football. It's funny because I was looking up something earlier. Their pass defense is actually really, really good in all but garbage times. Like, they've given up a lot of yards and stuff through the air, but that is because they're giving up a ton of yards, like any team will when they're up 3+ scores, right? Like that Packers game, they're up 3+ scores. They won 3 games by 17 or more. There's 2 or 3 other games where they're up 3 scores super late and managed to let a team come back and dick around. I mean, remember that Bears game, the first go around where they won in overtime? They were up 11 points with 22 seconds left and had to win it in overtime, right? So the Vikings' only weakness, their only weakness is they're not playing aggressive enough in garbage time, right? So that rush defense is elite. This pass defense is crazy. They got Cashman back, right? Cashman he's not going to win defensive player of the year, but he should be top 5 votes. He probably won't get that either, but they're undefeated with him, Mike. They're 12-0 with Cashman. Cashman, he has the play set there. He's a middle linebacker. He's absolutely crushing it. Gilmore's coming back, right? They are going to feast. They're going to feast
I'm going
on.
To make.
They're going to feast
I'm going to make
Geno
my
Smith.
rant.
The Vikes.
They
are
might,
because
I think Seattle stinks.
They're the only team in the NFL that has a takeaway in every single game. There isn't a single other team out there. They're going against Geno Smith, who throws more interceptions than anybody.
So now here's my counter. Okay, the Vikings are 2 wins. 10 of their 12 wins are against losing teams. Okay. Their 2 wins were against a shitty Houston team, and the Packers with Love coming off an injury. This is their wins, all right, everybody, the public? I want the public to know this because they need to understand. They beat the Giants. They have 2 wins. They beat San Francisco. They have 5 wins. They
were good then. They were good. They were healthy then.
They were bullshit. They beat They beat the fucking Texans, who are
Texans were good, Dan.
all their wins are in their division. It was the worst division in football. They beat the Jets. They beat the Jets, 4 wins. They lost to the Lions. They lost to the Rams. Oh, they beat the Colts, 4 wins. Oh, they beat the Titans, 2 wins. Oh, they beat
Colts
the
have
Jags.
more than 4 wins.
5, whatever.
6 wins.
5. They beat the Jaguars. They've got 3 wins. Oh, they beat the Bears twice. They got 4 wins. Give me a fucking break.
4-2.
Give me a fucking break.
Hail Mary.
Give me a break. The 3 good teams they
Let me make
faced.
some sense of this, guys.
There's
Hold
like
on, let me make
6
some
winning
sense.
teams.
So,
By
first
the
of
way,
all,
but wait a minute. Seattle is 8-6. 7 of their 8 wins are against losing teams. The only win Seattle has versus a winning team is against the Denver Broncos in Week 1 versus a rookie quarterback. So
you like-
they
didn't
suck
you like
too.
the Texans? I think they
But you
beat
like
Texans.
Seattle.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You like Seattle, Mike? Is what you're saying? You like Seattle?
So you like Seattle is what you're
So-
saying, Mike.
The reason why I'm not saying this. This is my first of all. I don't know if it's 3.5. I saw
So
3
you
and
like,
3.5.
After all
If
that,
I-
you like the Vikings?
No, I'm taking 3.5 with Seattle if I get
There
the
we
3.5.
go, Mike.
And I
Seattle.
want you to know why. Okay, and you guys got to understand. It is a short week in one of the longest trips all the way to Seattle. Okay,
Not that
Seattle
long
is.
a flight from Minnesota.
I understand.
It's 3 hours.
It's really
but-
not on a private plane. It's
but
really
listen,
not that bad.
I think Seattle's offense sucks, but it's a horrible spot for them. Like horrible, and it's a really good spot for Seattle. And back to their second, teams that are even decent don't lose back-to-back home games, and it's a game they have to have, or their season is over. And I just think on
Not
a
true.
short week,
Just
I
not
just-
true.
I just want
It's a
I
meaningless
want
game for
3.5.
Seattle.
Okay, Mike.
Okay.
All right, Mike, thanks. Cantu?
Yeah, no, everybody knows I pick the Seahawks most weeks. There's a few bright spots that I like on the Seahawks, and there's not, which isn't many bright spots, but I'll take the Vikings here -3. The Seahawks are just not. they're
You're
not
picking
playing well.
against
Geno Smith.
Minnesota
Yes,
for the
I like the Vikings. No, I like the Vikings here.
first time you
uh,
ever picked against Seattle. Somebody get a camera out.
No, it's second or third. It's been a long time. They were playing real well. I was really on them during that 4 or 5 game winning streak, whatever it was. But Seattle there's a few players that are playing nice on defense. The receivers are playing nice. Geno Smith, we were talking about this in group chat yesterday. Geno Smith is maybe the best quarterback between the 20s in the NFL. Great stats, amazing numbers. God, put him in the red zone. I don't know what he just looks like deer in headlights. And I'm not talking like lucky tip interceptions. I'm talking right to him. He's not even getting hit. It's like he can't see. It's like it really is deer in headlights. Like they're coming at you, the deer just stands there and gets plowed over. Well, that's like Geno just throwing it right to the defender. I don't understand it.
Listen, Seattle sucks. I
think.
can't.
Thank you, Mike. I think he's so far. Geno is so far in his own head. I don't think he can get out. He's playing so bad between the 20s, or get outside of the 20s. Or you know what I'm saying. But that's what I think.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. You watch, I'm going to Cantu's point, man. You watch some of those interceptions that Geno's thrown. Oh, my God. Like, sometimes there's not even a receiver in the area. I'm like, what was that? It's truly
Yeah, it's
incredible.
crazy.
We identified it a long time ago, but I think a lot of other sports podcasts have talked about this. Geno Smith, in the red zone has been horrendous. I think he's ranked the dead last, and he looks really good between the 20s. For sure, that's the case. All right, I love Minnesota here. We just showed you guys what an NFC North team can go to Seattle and do. Mikey and I called it. Well, Mike was more on the fence. I called it. The Packers are next level. Cantu, this is what Cantu did. First he said the Packers are going to be embarrassed. And I was thinking, I started laughing. I was in my room here in the Bahamas. I started laughing. And the next thing Cantu did is he said, I guarantee, he hasn't done this in 10 weeks. I guarantee Seattle. The minute he did that, Woodley and I snap bet the Packers. And so,
No, I didn't. Mike did. I was on the other side.
yeah, Mike and I snap at the Packers after hearing
Jay White, too.
Cantu's
Jay White did, too, yeah.
guarantee. And I thought to myself, Seattle's going to get exposed tonight. That's what happened. Seattle has been exposed. They're 36% to make the playoffs. I think these NFC North teams are just superior. They're going to go right into Seattle and kick their
I'm
ass.
just glad that Mike loves the Seahawks this week.
I don't say I love them. I just said it's
you
a
do.
bad spot. It's a bad spot for the Vikings.
Do you like the Vikings this week, or do you like the Seahawks?
I'll take 3.5. I will not.
Guys,
take
hold on. I have a question
3.
for Mike. Are you ready, Mike?
I will not lay 3.5.
Mike, you told us on the pod. I wasn't sure if you said you tried to go 0-5 because you'd have a chance to win the booby, and you ended up going 5-0.
Correct on Circa. I had my first 5-0 week in 2 years.
Well, Mike should always try to do that. It seems like he would do better, Phil. I think you're bringing up a good point.
It makes me wonder. Cantu, you got a number 1 pick for us?
He did it.
Yeah.
Real quick. He did it before. He did it a few weeks ago because he was trying to get the
I went
the
4.
booby
I went
prize.
4-1 that week.
And he
Whenever he
went
tries to go 0-5, he goes 5-0. I mean, it's Mike. You have been on.
He's 9-1 when he's trying to pick losers. It's
Whatever
incredible.
Whenever Mike opens his mouth on his number 1 pick, I'm going to go to my phone and I'm going to bet the other side immediately. Because once the podcast gets out, the whole world's going to bet against Mike, and the line's going to go the wrong way. Cantu, give us your pick. It's Cantu's time, Mikey.
I was, when I heard Carson Wentz was starting for the Chiefs, I was going to go Texans. Mahomes back in. I'm off of that after we just talked about it. My number 1 pick, I'm going to go with the Steelers at Ravens plus 6.5. Steelers are,
I see
these
6
two teams,
everywhere.
by the way, just seem to always play each other tough.
Mike, there's a 6.5 somewhere, so let's just
there's
let
a
it go.
6.5. Oh,
Where?
Mike can't take it when there's a 6.5 and 6s. Mike, if you look hard enough.
I see 6 across the board. 6.5.
Okay, Mike. What about
Mike's
draft?
bookie.
Mike's
Bookie
lay
lets you get a free
165
half
is
point.
6.5.
You know what's interesting?
minus 120.
Good
You know what's
God,
interesting?
Minus
argue about
1.
this.
You could
Every
buy a half
time-
a point with
Just be
anything.
quiet.
Mike, stop. Every time one of you guys has said the numbers wrong, we've gone on our phones and found that there was one. So why are you even arguing?
Yeah, but because 6.5 minus 120 is not fucking 6.5. Okay.
It's 6.5, 110. I'm looking at it right now on Vegas Insider. Mike, what do you want from me?
Okay. I'm
Well,
looking
Mike,
at it
can
right
we just
now.
not can we just not waste time arguing about the lines? It's a Tuesday.
There's some 6 and there's some 6.5.
We're
I'm
getting a
staring
little
at
leeway.
6.5.
I'm giving you leeway when you make your pick too, Mike. Go ahead, Cantu.
Anyways, help me out. Who'd the Steelers play last week, guys?
Eagles.
Eagles.
Look terrible. They're coming off of a really bad loss, to be honest. Steelers are a much better team than that, and I think they pick it up this week. I think Russell Wilson kind of gets it back going. He wasn't very good last week. The Steelers didn't play well last week.
They're shitty without Pickens, man.
I always love the Steelers-Ravens
they're
games.
bad
They're
without
always like last-second field goal games. It's been like this the last 2.5 decades. I think this is going to be a good game. I like the Steelers plus 6.5.
Cantu, quick question for you. Where do you rate the Eagles right now? Are they the best team in the league this week, or?
This week, I would say the Bills are the best team. I got the Eagles is probably number 2. Like right now, they're playing good. I still am worried. I don't know why. That real locker room.
Defense wins
But
championships.
God, did you guys see that? By the way, Sirianni getting really laid into the Eagles coach by one of the coordinators, really in his face, about to hit him. It's really strange. All the drama, but. Usually teams that really shakes
They've won
the locker room,
9
but
in a
somehow
row.
The Eagles get past it. I don't understand it.
They've won 9 in a row, and we saw drama on the sidelines. Anybody that wants to Google it, there was some drama.
They've won 10 in a row. 10 in a row.
10 in a
Nice
row,
try, though.
and there's drama on the sidelines.
The head coach is about to get beat up. I mean, that guy was huge. Whoever was in his face, I don't know that guy's name, but man, he was a big guy.
Well, A.J. Brown cried about not getting the ball, so what'd they do? They got him 2 touchdowns. They fucking and Hurts lit him up, and Barkley only had 65 yards, and the defense was dominant, and they have the best defense in football. And
Okay,
they
Mike, let's stick to the
football.
Ravens. Pittsburgh. I do not like the pick. I think
Me
the
neither.
Ravens finally
Me
got
neither.
fixed on their bye week. Right now the line is 6.5. I'll take the 6 since I'm going the other direction. I do not like the pick. The Ravens are capable of just blowing anybody out. On the other hand, it's just been a joy to watch the Steelers. They're just a great team, but I'm just a little bit against the pick. I don't hate it, but I'm just a little bit against it. Mike, who do you like in this? You can use -6 or 6, either one.
I'm all on the Ravens here. If Pickens doesn't play, this is a big bet on the Ravens because it showed you the last 2 weeks without Pickens, Russell Wilson has just looked terrible. Even though they won one of the games against a really bad team. This is they have no passing game without Pickens. The Ravens are one of the top offenses in the last 20 years, and there's just no way they're going to be able to score with them. Just like they weren't able to keep up with the Eagles. Now, they did have the turnover where they were driving to make it a tie game, and it changed the whole game, but they just don't have the passing attack. If Pickens plays, I will not bet the Ravens.
Waffling Mike. Woodley, what do you got?
No, it's no waffle. That's a fact.
Okay. I think it's interesting. He's been making a little bit of progress. That hamstring strain is tough to come back from, but he was doing some drills. I mean, this game is basically for the division, more or less,
It is.
right?
Correct.
So I hope Pickens plays. I need him. I'm like fantasy and stuff, and I'm gonna go with the Steelers here 6.5 because it's where it is everywhere, Mike. But yeah, I'm 6.
The Steelers beat them last time they played, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
They
everybody
had a
falls
million
in love.
turnovers.
It's going to be close. I like the Ravens to win by like a field goal or something, but it's going to be close.
If Pickens don't play, it ain't
Steelers-
going to be close. If he plays, I'm with you. I agree.
Okay,
do you agree? Do you agree if Pickens don't play that they're not? It's not going to be close. They won't score enough points.
They're in bigger trouble if he doesn't play. But these are teams that know each other. It's a rivalry. Like they it's for the division. I mean, I think TJ Watt should be okay. I think that's the big one. Like,
Yeah,
is Watt.
playing.
But it's the Ravens, they do this. They've been doing this all year where they look like incredible in some random
I
stupid
agree.
game. Like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are the fucking masters of I told you the Vikings struggle with garbage time because they kind of get conservative. The Ravens and the Lions love garbage time because they just love piling it on, right? They love making these players that they have significantly more expensive when they become free agents, right? Like Bateman, all of a sudden, you're giving him 2 touchdowns. Congrats, you're gonna pay him $5 million more. Like Bateman's not good, like Tim Patrick on the Lions,
I agree with you a lot. Like the Ravens have 5 losses where they gave all 5 away, but they also have 2 wins over the Bengals that they shouldn't have won either one. So they've played with fire, and so I do agree. But I just believe I've watched 2 weeks in a row that offense without Pickens, they can't get the ball.
Okay, Mike. You spoke on this twice.
They have zero weapons. Yeah, they have 0 weapons.
Woodley, I'm coming to you, Woodley.
It's gonna be close.
Woodley, I'm coming to you for your number 1 pick.
I already did it.
Oh,
Vikings.
I'm coming to me for my number 1 pick. Yeah, I should have known. I'm coming with the Cincinnati Bengals. Did everybody pick yet?
Oh, wow. No,
Mike hasn't.
Oh, Mike hasn't. All right. Mike, I'm going to go with the Bengals. Now, I bet it yesterday at 6.5. I see it's at 7 and 7.5 right now.
But I
don't
7.5 across the board.
Yeah. I'm gonna still go with. I don't think there's a 6.5, but I think you can find a 7.
Oh, you got a great line yesterday.
I did.
It's all 7.5 now.
I did. And pretty happy with that. And I can show you. I can pull up my phone and show you the bet, which every time you guys have challenged me.
I remember you told me you bet it yesterday.
They benched Winston, yeah.
Well, I watched Winston last week. He played as bad as can be. Kansas City was their normal, awful self. They got all 21 points off of Jameis Winston's 3 fucking picks.
He's tied with Geno as the worst. Amazing, between the 20s, awful outside.
But he now gets to face the worst
they benched
fucking
him.
defense.
They benched him. They benched him today. That's why he moved.
He's not playing this week.
That's why I love it.
They're putting in Torian Robinson, who's worse than Jameis, by the way. Significantly.
We had to refer to him as DTR. Have some respect.
Yeah, but the Bengals, they lost their Hubbard is their best run stopper. He's out, for the season.
Matter.
And they have the worst pass defense in football. I wouldn't lay 7.5 with the Bengals if you gave me the final score.
Well, I'm taking 7, Mike,
even the dog shit they played last week, they only won by 7.
I'll take 7. I'll take 7.5. I'll take 8. I'll take 10. I'll take 14. Dude, DTR is terrible. That is a bad quarterback. Like he throws significantly more interceptions than Winston. Like he makes Winston look like, Tom Brady, like legitimately. This Bengals team, I mean, dude, they are they're I think they're eliminated. I'm pretty sure they're eliminated. But they are pissed, dude. Burrow is like pissed off, man. Like,
they
this
want
guy
respect.
is out there flinging it.
They're not eliminated yet. Denver has to lose all the rest of their games. And they have to win out.
But we can say
so.
Pretty much.
They're playing for a lot of pride. They're playing for some contracts, right? Like Chase is due. I don't think they signed Chase, right? He's due for a contract. T. Higgins is about to be a very expensive free agent. Chase Brown. Since Zach Moss went down, Chase Brown in the last 8 weeks, I think he's been I know fantasy's not reality, but with running backs, it's close. If you have a lot of points, it means you have a lot of yards and touchdowns. He's been top 5 every single week since then. Chase Brown all of a sudden is like Mixon-ish like that. And that offense is incredible, right? And that defense sucks, but man, they came out looking great against the Titans. They looked a little bit better. Like they're pissed. They've heard everything. I mean, they look at this season as like a complete lost opportunity. Like they don't want to tank. They don't need to tank. Like I think they're going to try to win out. And they won't make the playoffs, but they'll play spoiler and get some momentum there. Like
they really are playing for pride.
They want to save coaches.
I really want. This is really important to know. So the Bengals make the playoffs if Denver gets scooped. Now listen to who they play. They could get scooped.
They could lose the Chargers this week.
Very important.
If they lose to the Chargers this week, they then face the Bengals in the very next week, which Bengals are playing to eliminate them. And then it goes to week 17. If the Chiefs happen to lose
18.
one game, 18, they then would play the Broncos in week 18. And if the Chiefs are playing for the 1 seed, they could get scooped and the Bengals could get in.
Okay, that's a good point.
Mike,
I love the Bengals even.
I didn't realize how
Mike,
easy their schedule was.
Mike, do you want to switch sides now, or are you still like the other side?
I would never lay 7.5 with the Bengals in any game this year, ever.
That defense sucks.
Mike,
that
would you
defense
please
sucks.
say 7 or 7.5? Can't do. Listen.
Here's what I would do.
I want to hear what you have to say, and then
Have they even
afterwards,
won a game by more than 7 points this year? Have they
Mike,
won
Mike,
one
you
game
can
by
look
more
it
than
up,
7?
but
Mike, take a fucking breath. Jesus Christ, this is the Mike Mattisau podcast.
Mike
Everybody, we'll just listen to
Mike's done a lot of talking, but Mike will be his number 1 pick as soon as you're done. Can't do. Mike, you can talk in a minute. Get your pick ready.
Sure.
By the way, I love the Bengals. I've been on them a lot, and I got to make sense of this backup quarterback situation. The Browns aren't good, and to be honest, their way of winning is letting Jameis. It's okay, but people think it's like also awful if you throw interceptions. I think it's really an overrated stat. This is my own opinion. When you're throwing the ball around with a chance to throw for 400 or 500 yards, with like Jameis is in some of these games, it's okay to throw a couple picks. I really believe that when you're throwing deep. Now, that's the only way they're gonna win this game is to let someone like Jameis really launch it. Then you could kind of make a game of it. You know what? You throw 3 picks, you weren't going to win anyways, or even probably 2. You weren't going to win, but when he does only throw 1 or less, you win the game. With DTR, there's not enough variance. He is just too shitty of a quarterback to get it done. I love the Bengals.
What's interesting here, though, is like the reason, they have the perfect cover for benching Jameis, which is like he was bad. But it also came out yesterday or today, I think yesterday, that they're bringing Watson back, that they have no choice. Like he is their starter next year. And like the thing with the Browns is those fans love Jameis. Like Jameis, let's be clear, he's a very unserious NFL quarterback, but he's very fun. He's very likable and stuff.
He's serious.
Those fans like him.
He's actually fun to watch play.
He's very talented. He's just also.
I'm saying he's not a guy that can like take you to the playoffs. Okay, it's just we've seen this for 10 years. He's fun. All this. The fans love him though, and there is zero chance that Jameis is going to be back in Cleveland next year because for better or worse, like they have to commit to Watson. So they're benching Winston now. I don't think Winston's going to see the field the rest of the year. They're going to get out there with DTR. He's going to stink up the joint. The locker room's lost, and it's all setting up so they can kind of bring Watson back, and the fans maybe go for 7 plays without booing him instead of 2 plays next year. So this Browns team is just toast. I mean, Judy is great. If I was Judy, I'd be so pissed right now. Like Judy, talk about a guy that's had like a resurgence of a career. Him and Winston are getting like 13 catches a game, and now you have like DTR throwing to you. It's just like,
okay, guys. I want to say one thing. If you're listening to this podcast at home, Matisow is at the very bottom of the league. He's the only one that somehow likes Cleveland. So if you like crashing planes into walls, you can bet Mike's side.
There's zero. I would, if you gave me the final score, I wouldn't lay 7.5 with the Bengals. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I'm going to make a bet with you guys off camera. I don't want Mike to hear it, but he actually bets the Bengals. I think he will. He switches every game.
No.
Fezzik.
Anyways.
Can we all say Fezzik?
Fezzik bets him. He's
Fezzik.
Hey, their number one pick last week, I agreed with, and I bet them, and they had Tampa Bay, and I loved them.
Ooh,
that was one of my winners.
Good job, Fezzik.
Anyways,
nice job, Fezzik.
My number one pick, okay, is, and I do believe that this is for the number one seed. I like the Chiefs with the backup quarterback or with the I really do. I don't think much of the Texans. They locked up the division. They're locked into that 3 seed. It's been locked up forever. They have nothing to play for. This is a very big game for the Chiefs, even if Mahomes doesn't play, because they have to go on the road to the Steelers and then on the road to Denver at the end of the year, okay, to hold on to the number one seed. If they lose this game, they're going to have to win one of the next 2. If they win this game, they could lose the next 2. So I think that the Texans suck. I think that it's a game that's completely meaningless. I think this is the game that
it's not
Kansas.
Meaningless.
Why is it not meaningless?
For the Texans.
The Texans are locked in. They're locked into the 3. It's over with. And this is for the 1 seed for Kansas City. And I think Carson Wentz is a really good backup.
The 4, Mike.
The 4, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. 4. I meant the 4. Yeah.
They can get the 3 though too.
They could get the 3.
How are they going to get the 3?
Catch Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a tough game.
That team ain't
Mike just thinks Mike just has a bunch of L's next to Houston. He doesn't think they can win another game.
That team sucks. Okay, they're terrible. Their offense is terrible. C.J. Stroud is ranked 28th quarterback out of 32. They're not beating the Chiefs on the road. You originally liked them, Cantu. I mean, I see some 2.5.
I originally liked the Texans.
If I can
you know what? I still like the Texans. Let's go. I don't care. You will not catch me betting the Chiefs the rest of this year. I do not think they are good. Yes, they won by 2 touchdowns against the lowly Browns.
They were terrible.
So,
I agree.
Thank you, Mike. The Chiefs, the Chiefs just aren't in sync. I still believe it. I don't think they're going to come together. Even with Mahomes hurt, that's not going to help. He's going to be hobbling if he plays. I do believe he's going to play. I'll take the Texans. Texans are playing much better. They look good. This was going to be my number 2 pick and still almost was, but you know, I don't love the pick, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, interesting. By the way, for the people at home, this line's moved 5 points or something, right, Mike?
It was 2.5 the other way.
It was 2.5 the other way because it looked like Mahomes wasn't going to play. Now Mahomes warmed up today. He had a pretty good warm up. Most people think he's going to play. A 5-point line move on a Tuesday.
How do these people think that Mahomes is the way he's played this year is 5 points better than Carson Wentz? I mean,
really, Mike?
Come on.
Really?
Have you watched Mahomes? Has not been very good. That was one of my losses.
Like, the poor Lions. The Lions have injuries. The Chiefs have a lot of injuries too, and no one's like giving them any sympathy. But they're getting healthy at the right time.
Chiefs 3-11 against the spread right now.
So I like KC, but Mike nailed it. They kind of have to win this game. It's not must win, but it's close. Like they don't want that going into Pittsburgh on the day after Christmas at night is tough,
right?
Especially if Mahomes is 100%. And then Denver's going to give. I mean, Denver may be playing for their playoff lives there.
Danny, I was going to ask you to post all 4 of our picks right now and put an ice cube next to Mike. But I agree with him, and Woodley agrees with him, so maybe we don't have an ice cube next to Mike's pick.
It's
post
they're
all
looking
4
better.
picks.
Hollywood Brown coming back is huge. I mean, he's
Huge.
I think Mike
we've been
nailed it.
waiting
His
for, like-
reasoning. It seems like Houston's locked in. Kansas City does need to win another game. It's a really good spot
Kansas
for them
City
to.
needs to win 2 games out of these 3. The Bills
Houston-
have no one to play. They're playing nobody last 3 games.
Houston isn't terrible, like Mike says. That defense is really good. They got Mixon.
No.
Like
Yeah.
The
Stroud
offense is terrible. He's been terrible.
They're playing a lot better. They're playing a lot. I mean,
They scored a big 20 off of fucking a defense that had been giving up 30 every week.
well, their defense. By
Fair.
the way, their defense has
Fair.
let up 7, 17, and 17 the
I
last
agree.
3. Oh no,
The
that's
defense-
the Chiefs. Sorry,
Yeah.
I take that back. I was meaning to look at the wrong team.
Oh my God! I'm just looking at the spreads right now, and I hadn't decided which way I'm going to go. But I'm going to let someone else lead. But it does look like Detroit's 6.5 points favorites at the Bears.
It was 7, and I love the Bears at 7, but you can't get 7 no more. So.
Okay. All right. So who's ready for their second pick? Woodley, you ready? Cantu, you ready?
Yeah. Go Woodley. Go Woodley.
Why don't you
Okay.
go, Cantu?
Woodley's going to go first. This is why Woodley's going to go first, folks. Because on that 125 people thing where Mike's 124th place battling for the bottom, Woodley has a chance to cash. Woodley's in 21st place. The top 15 get paid. He's kind of been the best of us at giving these against the spread picks. Go ahead, Woodley. Give us your number 2 pick. You're first up. You earned it.
Yeah, I was what? Man, I hate to take it. I hate it.
I know what you're gonna take.
I like the
Oh, God.
Chiefs. Well, but I'm gonna pick another
Oh.
one here, right?
No, you can pick the Chiefs.
the
We've already talked
Jets-
about it.
The Jets at home, 3.5 point underdog
boy.
versus the Rams, and
You're taking the Jets.
dude,
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with you on this.
it's 3.5 a lot,
obvious.
dude. This Jets team, man, they it's funny because they've imploded,
They're in every game.
but if you kind of look beyond it, they're kind of gelling a bit and they're kind of playing with a lot of pride. Like I think Rodgers, it's funny, like
He's looked good.
He's
last 2
a
weeks.
complete jackass, but I think he realized about 3 weeks ago, it kind of clicked. Because you've noticed this. All of a sudden, it went from him not coming back or whatever, and the Jets can move on and whatever. All of a sudden, he's like, I want to be back. I want to be back. Because the thing is like, nobody else wants Rodgers next year, right? Nobody wants that circus. Everyone has a better plan B. Sam Darnold's going to be out there. The Jets aren't going to bring back Sam Darnold, even though they should. And Derek Carr's going to be out there. Other than that, there's other choices out there for these teams that need stopgaps. And there's a few other, Jameis and stuff. So like Aaron wants to, he wants to come back because he is an egomaniac. Okay. Like he clearly is. He loves the spotlight. He loves being on Pat McAfee. He loves this Netflix crap. He loves just being a nut. Right. And the minute he retires, nobody cares about him anymore because that's the reality of professional athletes. So he wants to come back to the Jets. And boy, he's starting to look pretty good. Right. And I think, he wants his best friend, Devontae Adams, to be back. And like, what does he do with Adams? Like, they have a big decision with Adams, right? They can let him walk or they can give him a bunch of money. Well, now Adams all of a sudden is getting like 180 yards, 2 touchdowns a game. So like they're playing really, really hard. And I think they're playing very, very hard for selfish reasons, but it doesn't matter. Like they're playing tough. I think they keep it close. I don't know if they beat the Rams, or 3.5's a lot on the road. So give me the Jets, who
Mikey,
have
yes.
also lost a lot of really dumb games. Like that's a better
Yeah.
team.
Much better
they're
than
not
the
a playoff
record. I've
team.
been saying it all year that they gave away like
they're-
6
to be
games.
clear, they shouldn't be a 10-win team, probably 9-win
They
team. They're probably
8 or
legitimately
9.
an 8-win team. 8 or
Yeah.
9, yeah.
Correct. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with Woodley as my second best pick, and I'm gonna take the Jets also.
Oh, Danny, they both agree on their second best
This
pick.
is why, okay? This is a game that really, with Seattle losing last week, means nothing, because if the Rams win out and lose this game, the Rams win the division, okay? And the Jets, every single game, they're in it to the last possession, okay? Every game but like 2 all year, it's come down to the last possession. You're getting 3.5 on the road. They're coming off a 10-day, which you could say is good or bad, but they did not play well against San Francisco. I mean, they scored a whopping, that was one of my worst beats. I had a teaser where I had with San Francisco plus 3.5, and I had Purdy going to tie the game, throws a pick, and somehow in 4 minutes, they got all the way down the field to kick a field goal with 13 seconds to go to cost me my teaser. The Rams are playing good. They're getting healthy. Okay, their offense looks great. Looked great against a Bills team that has been shredded 2 weeks in a row. So I'm not so sure the offense is that good. Give me the 3.5 here. I think the Rams are going to win this game because the Jets always find a way to lose games, even though they found a way to win one last week. I think the Jets lose by 2 or 3 points. I like the 3.5.
What do you make of this pick? Jets plus 3.5.
I love the Jets here. I love the Jets plus 3.5. The Rams are I talk about this all the time, but such a screwy team. I can never tell when they're going to win or lose. They play with their competition. Yeah, they'll beat the best teams in the league. Mike loves to see, can you beat those good teams? But they can't beat the bad teams. They've struggled against bad teams.
But they don't get killed by them. They blow it on the last play of the game.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. The Jets, they're playing good. Mike throws me off in the middle of his crazy interjections every single time. But yeah, I honestly, I lost where I was. He
Okay,
threw off my universe.
Ketu. Okay,
Jets.
guys, are you ready? Not so fast. You all love the Jets. It's Mike's second best pick. It's Woodley's second best pick, and Ketu's used the word love. The Rams are the hardest team. We will agree, all of us, that they are the most Jekyll and Hyde team I've ever seen. But Sean McVay is 38 years old. This guy is unbelievable. The way he schemes, the way he coaches. And I love what happened. They somehow, when they had to, with the pedal to the metal, they played play for play against the Bills and beat them. Then they came back in San Francisco when they didn't need much, but they needed some great defensive stops, and they stopped
Purdy was so
San
bad.
Francisco. So they won by scoring a ton. They won by scoring a little bit. I think this Rams team has gelled. I think they're together. I think Stafford's an unbelievable quarterback, and I think they're going to come in, and I think the Jets have nothing to play for. Now, I do agree that there's pride there. I do agree that, they're going to play for pride, just like Cincinnati.
2 weeks in a row, they play really hard, man.
But there's a difference between playing for pride and playing to go to the playoffs. Give me the Rams. All right, that is Mikey's and Woodley's number 2 pick. It's not a consensus pick because I'm against it. Not so fast, but Cantu, give us your number 2 pick when ready, sir.
All right, number 2 pick. Broncos at Chargers, Thursday night football, short week. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 2.5. Now, the Chargers have struggled. Bad game last week. It was actually a close game until the fourth quarter when, I don't know, the Chargers just got killed up and down the field. They lose 40-17, coming off back-to-back losses against the Chiefs. I'm just not discouraged with that loss. Tampa's playing really good. I'm actually turning into a big Tampa fan, even though we're not really talking about them right now. I like the Chargers here. I do not believe in the Broncos. I know they have a great offensive line and defense. That's all Mike looks at when he's looking for his games. But I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game. I think they look great, or I think they're going to play great, look great, and I think they win big in this game.
All right. I love the Chargers. Hold on, Mike. I want to agree with Cantu. I love the Chargers. I think that the Chargers are, after 2 losing weeks in a row, Harbaugh rarely loses 3 games. We could probably go back and look at his record throughout history. I don't know if he ever loses 3 games in a row. It's unbelievable. He schemes. He gets people ready to play. And I think that they're just in another. Who did they lose to? They lost to the Chiefs. They put up a good fight. Then they lost to Tampa Bay, who was on fire. Now they're playing Denver, and Denver's defense looks really good. But give me the Chargers at home, minus 2.5. Mike?
I don't want no part of this Charger team. The Chargers are 8-6 now. If you look at their wins, I mean, look who they've beaten. They have beaten any team that's any good. They have lost you. So they lost to the Chiefs, right? They lost to the Seahawks. Oh, that was preseason. I'm sorry. So they beat the Raiders. The Raiders have 2 wins. They beat the Panthers. The Panthers have 3 wins. Okay. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to the fucking Chiefs. They beat Denver on the road. That was a big win. Okay. They lost to the Cardinals. They beat the Saints. They're terrible. They beat the Browns. They're terrible. They beat the Titans. They're terrible. They beat the fucking Bengals. They're fucking terrible. And they fucking lost to the Ravens. and they barely beat the Falcons, who are absolutely
they should have lost that
terrible.
game.
They should have lost that game. They were terrible in that game. Their offense looks terrible. And if you look at the teams that have an offense, okay, teams that have an offense that they played, which is only 3 teams, which is the Bengals, the Ravens, and Tampa Bay, and all 3 lit them up. So that tells me that their defense is not very good. Denver basically is playing for their playoffs. If they win this game, yes, it's a division game, but if they win this game, they're in the playoffs, okay? And if they lose this game, they got to go play the Steelers and Kansas City, or they're out of the playoffs if they lose both those games. So you're talking about a team against one team going down that the lack of weapons and the higher quality in offense has hurting them, and one team going up. And I think the Denver's a big play here.
Hold on,
and I hate one more thing. And when they make it 2.5 at home, and they're begging you to bet the Chargers. Plus, the crowd's all going to be Denver fucking fans.
Yeah,
I have to back us up. As Mike, hold on 1 second. Mike gave us some fake news, and I got to correct our audience.
Yeah, the Steelers, the Bengals, they play the Bengals.
Yeah, he was saying that that they were chasing, that the Bengals were chasing the Broncos. The Bengals, well, which they could catch the Broncos, but the Bengals are chasing the Chargers. They're only 2 back, and the Bengals beat the Chargers. So really, they're only a game and a half back. So if they were to lose this and Bengals win, they're a half a game back, essentially.
Yes, but the Chargers play like the Giants and the Panthers, or some two retards end the year.
It's still an easier
where they only need
Denver loses 3.
But look who Denver plays. Denver loses this game, they have to fucking beat the Steelers and Kansas City playing for the 1 seed. So
they're not playing the Steelers. They play the Bengals. But
I'm sorry, the Bengals. Who, if the Bengals beat them, then it would all come down to whether Kansas City beats. This is a big game for them.
Yeah, Chargers play at New England.
Outside shot. I mean, it's not likely, but they got an outside shot.
Chargers play at New England and then at the Raiders after this. I agree with Mike. I think there's a few things. I think they should have lost the Atlanta game. I don't want to like play this. They should have won this or lost this. But there's they should be on a 4-game losing streak here. That offense isn't good. Like, Ladd is okay. Like, everyone's making a big deal about this guy because, let's be honest, right? Like, anytime there's like a white wide receiver, people just like go nuts over him. Like, he's okay, but he's
okay.
He's not a number 1. Okay, nuts. Like everybody goes nuts, right? For the next white.
Woodley, that's last year. They would have canceled you for saying anything remotely close to this. Continue.
Yeah. Well, we're white. No, it's true though. It is true. Like, people love it when there's like a white receiver, right? So everybody's talking about him, but he's not that good. It's like Thielen, right? Like, these guys aren't number 1s. Ladd's a solid number 2. They don't have anything else. They got Quentin Johnson, who, if he catches the ball, he's okay. They got no running game. Even
and the defense is being exposed. The defense is exposed.
The defense is solid. But I think this is a case. We talked about. I went back and watched our first 2 episodes, and we talked, right? And, let's be honest. Like, Phil's a homer for the Niners, and he's definitely a homer for the Chargers because Harbaugh's his boy, and that's fine. I think Harbaugh's done an amazing job. I don't think this is a good team. I think the fact they even have 8 wins is all due to Harbaugh. I think any other coach in there this season's over. So I think they're overachieving, but I think it's caught up with them. And I think the Broncos are a really good team. The Broncos have the best. They have the best. I go back to this every freaking time. They have the best offensive line pass protection in the league. Nix is not that good of a quarterback, but he has more time than God back there. Their defense is good. They are very solid. They don't have many weapons, or they're going to keep it close. I like them to win. I mean, Mike called it. They kind of have to win this one. I think the Broncos are the better team. It's 2.5. The only thing working against the Broncos is it's a Thursday night game on the road. But give me the Broncos. I think Harbaugh's done an amazing job.
It won't even be a road game. It won't be a road game. Denver travels big time.
But I want to say this to Harbaugh, right? Like, he wants to win. They all want to win, but he's in there for 10 years. I said this at the beginning.
Yes,
he's looking long term. That's why he let Williams go, who sucks, and Allen go, and then the running back, I think they let go as well, right? He's building for the future there. So, like, it's just not a good team, and the Broncos are a good team. So give me the Broncos.
Okay, boys. All right, I'm going to wrap this up now.
Well, what do you think about that game? Phil, you haven't commented on that.
No, I talked about it right away. I agreed immediately with Cantu. But now I'm going to go to my number 2 pick. Danny, post all 4 of our number 2 picks. I am going with Detroit. -6.5 at Chicago. everybody's beating the crap out of Chicago. You look at Williams, and he looked like, he was kind of lying on the side. He didn't look good at the end of that game, and Minnesota just smacked them around. So I think that Detroit's going to come in. They just lost. Now, this Detroit team, they won. What did they win? Like 11 in a row, 12 in a row? Win, 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 win. Everybody talking about how great you are. And then you get a little cocky. You're not paying attention. Then, boom, you get smacked down, and it's back to reality. We can lose. It's time to kind of go back to fundamentals. It's time to go back to basics. Campbell's going to use this. I think he's a great motivator, and I think they're just going to come out, and you talk about scoring points in garbage time. They'll probably be up, call it 21-10, and they might score 3 touchdowns throwing halfback passes and win 42-10. Give me Detroit minus 6.5 at the Bears. Go ahead, Woodley.
Not me, buddy.
So fast, Phil.
Not so fast. Phil.
It's an interesting spot because they're both coming off pretty embarrassing losses. I'm just the biggest Caleb apologist in the world. He has looked fine he hasn't looked good this year for a team that had playoff aspirations. He hasn't looked like a playoff QB, but he's looked perfectly solid for a rookie quarterback and someone that's raw. He has looked fine. Everybody bashes him, and he gets a raw deal, man, because the thing about Caleb is he's a little controversial because he paints his nails and maybe doesn't blah 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 blah, and it's easy for people to rip on him, right? And he kind of looks ridiculous on the sideline when he's down 18 points, but who cares? The guy's getting destroyed back there. He shows a little bit of emotion. Everyone wants to read a lot into it. Caleb actually has looked pretty decent overall, but he's looked downright very good at times at home this year. He's only thrown 1 interception at home. He's only thrown 1 interception at home. But that's to be, I called this with the Vikings in that game last night. I was that place is gonna be loud. Brian Flores is gonna do a bunch of blitzes. He's gonna have to do the silent count. Rookie quarterbacks struggle on the road. It's part of it. He's done a lot better at home. He has 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. When he's on, they have, DJ Moore's been looking good. Allen's been looking good. They have 4 wins, but dude, they've been losing games very close in a lot of cases. Obviously, they got blown out this last game. They're on an 8-game losing streak. The whole world is against them right now. To be clear, the whole world isn't against Detroit because everyone's expecting Detroit to come destroy them. It's 6.5. I like Chicago. I think they kind of keep it close. Dude, Detroit is decimated with these injuries. It's finally caught up.
They lost 2 more defenders this week, and they lost Montgomery.
Dude, Montgomery. This might be a hot take, dude. Montgomery might be their MVP offensively, right? That whole offense runs through him. Gibbs a little more sexy or whatever, but dude, Montgomery's the one that gets in the end zone. He's the one you hand it to him. He gets 5-6 yards. He wears those defenses down, right?
Come on, bro. Okay, Goff is 3rd in the MVP race. You think that this guy's
why is Goff so good though, Phil? It's because they're the only team in football that can run the ball like that, and defenses have to stack the box like that. I'm
correct.
Now with Gibbs they can't do it. Goff is still very good. Don't get me wrong, he's very good, but losing Montgomery is huge. It's huge. It's not as big as losing Barkley or Jacobs, but it's big, man. It's not. And they've lost the defense. We'll see.
Defense, they lost 2
really
more starters
for this game.
They're missing 7. They're missing 7 starters, bro.
Mike, how many
starters?
Mike, how many players should they get back, Mike? Because you always talk about losing.
0 this week, but the following week
the Bears have a sneaky good pass defense too, and nobody talks about this. This is the problem with the game last night. Is the Vikings?
That's why Darnold struggled last night.
Times, and then they started running. Now they are susceptible against the run, but Detroit's run game has just been sliced in half, no matter what anyone wants to say about it. So it's the Bears. It's sneaky. Everybody's going to be in the line. Everybody.
Go ahead, Cantu. Then I'll put my subsets.
I'm going to make it short, sweet. The Bears suck. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about this Montgomery dude. They don't even need to run the ball. If they don't run the ball once this game, they're going to cover 6.5.
Dude, you're so
Anyways, give me the Lions big.
Okay, Now, this would have been, I'm going to be honest with you, this would have been my number 1 or 2 pick if it didn't move off 7.
By the way, the Bears in Detroit, what happened in that game, by the way? What happened in that game?
They should have won the game.
Did they lose?
They gave it away.
Okay.
Yeah, in Detroit. And that was when Detroit was healthy, by the way.
Hold on. What week was that?
The Bears.
That was
they
3
were
weeks
good
ago.
Until the Hail Mary.
Week 5.
That was 3 weeks
The
ago.
Bears have lost. They've lost 8 in a row, but they should have beat the Packers. They missed that field goal. Got the field goal blocked. They ran out of time against the Lions where they could have tied that game. All right, like
Right.
You know, they got blown out by the Niners and the Vikings, but like this Bears team, they're not good, but they fucking almost beat them on
Detroit's missing their whole team. They're missing 18.
Look at this. We always go over. Oh, here's Mike. Who have the Bears beat? Let's go over who the Bears beat. They beat the Titans.
It doesn't matter. They
They're
don't need to win.
talking
They
about
don't need to win.
points.
They can't do.
They're not going to win.
Jaguars. Oh, no, Steve, it doesn't matter who they beat. It doesn't
They
matter.
don't need to win.
They're going to win. They're going to win.
They don't need to
The
win.
teams they beat is like a combined 11.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They don't.
It doesn't matter.
All that matters is they beat
matter.
Minnesota in 2 weeks. That's all that matters.
They don't. Well,
now it doesn't matter
Detroit,
who you beat.
No. Detroit has to win this game because if they beat Minnesota, they lose it to Philly, right? So like they got to win out. But I think Detroit wins it. But like Cantu is 8 game.
I think they win too. I just don't think they cover.
I will say this,
Yeah, I
guys.
don't think they
Listen.
get 6
Couple things. One is every time Mike and Woodley have been at the same time, it has not worked out well. Cantu and I, there's a high five. They're going to win big.
That's not
That's not
true.
true.
They're going to win big.
The opposite. Okay, listen. This line was 7 yesterday, and the sharps, all the big money just poured in on +7. Okay,
Huge money. Those
true.
geniuses.
What do you think? The fucking squares fucking took 7 or laid 7? No, the squares are like you and Phil laying 6.5. This game,
We are?
the Denver. I'm gonna tell you right now, Detroit. I think they have enough pride to win the game, but watch how good Caleb Williams looks when they're playing against you and me. Is that they have no defense?
I mean, this is pretty much the coaching staff is like us four right here coaching the Bears. They have no coach. They have no identity. They have a quarterback that stinks. Like their line's
that's not
terrible.
true.
They have no playmakers.
They're missing 18 fucking people, 7 starters and 18 defensive players. They've given up
defense
4.
sucks, dude.
Yes, that's 17. Sorry, 42 and 44 the last 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, they're gonna have
Mike's
to
getting the
outscore them.
practice squad guys now. He's like,
Okay, guys, hold on. Okay, Mike,
Woodley, am I right or wrong? Tell him.
No, Mike is right because they're signing dudes. They signed what's his name, Jamal Adams, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah, they signed somebody off the street yesterday.
Jamal. So
Jamal
it's
Adams, you never know. Maybe he makes a resurrection.
Dude, that's a. It's a rivalry game. It's in Chicago. It's outside the dome.
Outside,
Detroit,
remember that.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I think Detroit wins it, but it's gonna be close. I mean,
Detroit's only played one game outside. One game they played outside, and they beat
Mike,
Green Bay in the last second.
Mike, can I say this?
Oh, that's a good point.
You called all of us squares, and in particular, it hurt Cantu and I. You started using this thing.
Yeah.
You guys are squares. And it hurt us. It really did hurt us. Like it hurt. We were like, God damn it! Why is Mike calling us squares? Mike, you're bottom of the league of 125 people. I don't think you're allowed to use the word square anymore.
That is really funny. That is
It
good.
doesn't hurt. There's no teeth in you making fun of us. It's like the guy that lost 45 poker turnouts in a row.
But I only bet 2 or 3 a week, sometimes 4, and I'm down like 3 units on the year.
Okay, guys, listen, we got to talk about another
Sorry,
game.
I can't pick 10 games.
We got to talk about another game here. I'm going to bring this up out of the blue here. Is there anything on the stream, the tech stream, worth mentioning? I already made fun of Cantu for the guarantee. Mike does his usual stuff. But we either talk about that or we can talk about the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles are 3.5-point favorites at the Washington Commanders. And I'm starting to believe in the Eagles. I mean, what if they won in a row, Mike? 10 in a row?
I don't believe in Washington.
I don't either. Listen, this is the game here that I was really leaning towards laying the Eagles.
Me too.
You know, there's some 3s out there. I don't know if there still is.
There are.
But like, but what scared me off this game, and this is what happens to a lot of people, is they watched a Washington team just about lose to a to a third string quarterback last week, right?
Yeah.
And I really would have had the Saints if I knew that, if I would have looked and seen that they had the Eagles coming up next. And so you watch the Eagles crush, you watch the other team struggle. This is a rivalry division game. I do believe the Eagles are the best team in football. I do believe they win this game, but they got the cornerback, the Lamar Lattimore is going to play this week. I don't know if he played last week or not. I think that the Eagles win. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I can't lay 3.5 here in a must-win game.
This is interesting because you've been the guy that's been telling us for 4 weeks Eagles are a top 3 team. I did not believe you, Mike. You told us 5 weeks. I watched them implode last year. I did not believe in them, but man, I mean, what they did to Baltimore, it's really incredible. I give Eagles a lot of respect now. And maybe they are the number 2 team. Maybe Cantu had it right at the beginning of the podcast. I'm taking the Eagles minus 3.5. I don't really see any threes, but it will probably be some. So 3.5.
I hate both these teams. No
I'll
pick
take
for
them.
me.
Cantu?
Pick.
I'll take
No pick?
No pick. These two,
Well,
I really don't like either team, even though the Eagles are playing really
Woodley
good.
hates the Eagles.
So no picking.
But his money,
What do you
the
think,
money
Woodley?
in his pocket made him like occasionally pick him. Woodley, I know you hate the Eagles more than any other team. I know you hate Philadelphia more than any other city.
I do. I do.
Me too, by the way.
I'm not. I think as we've seen all year, I mean, we can get like caught up in these like rankings. It's like, is Philly number 1? Is the Bills number 1? I like
Philadelphia.
I
like Philadelphia cheesesteaks. So continue.
It's any week though. I think you look at this year. If you want to talk about 2 years, it's like the Lions are there, even with the injuries. You know, the Bills are there. The Chiefs are there. You got to give the Chiefs there, and then Philly's there, right? And then right below that, you have Minnesota, Baltimore, and the Packers. I don't care who you are. It's wide open this year. There's 8 legitimate teams that have a great shot, and then you have like random ass teams, kind of like they can sneak up on you. Like nobody wants to play the Rams. And Washington could be dicey too. Like the fucking Buccaneers look good, man. I mean, like
they look
it's
great.
a fun year. It's a fun year. So this whole the Eagles are one of the best teams. They are. But the Commanders are pretty good, and they almost lost against the Saints. That was fluky, though. I mean, that was like
they missed 2 field goals.
Game.
They missed 2 field goals. They were up 17-0. You know,
it was like that Atlanta game last night where they could have lost to the Raiders. Like these teams just kind of dick around too much, and I think that's what the Commanders did there. And like they lost. That was a bad loss against Dallas and stuff. And they played the Eagles kind of tough early on, and then
they were down 2,
that was a weird game.
and they were down 2. They didn't kick the field goal that would have gave them the lead, and then they went touchdown on a 60-yard run, and then turnover touchdown, and they got back 14 points. So it was 6 minutes to go. They had a shot to take the lead.
I like Washington at home with the points. I think they're again. I think the Eagles here, but I don't think there's like a ton of separation here. I think like honestly, if you want to talk about like, man, even like the Bills, right? It's amazing as the Bills are with Josh Allen. Like the Bills are Josh Allen. There's nothing else on that Bills team. James Cook's for good, but that's it. Like even the best team, right? And then you have the Lions, and the Lions are decimated by injury. And even without the injuries, the defense is a little suspect, right? And like the Eagles will look great, but dude, what's going on there? Like that coach, like they're the only team I've ever seen that's 12-2 where like that coach might be on the hot seat. Right?
And they're very physical. Like the Steelers are a very physical team. Yeah, they won by 14 because they had no Pickens to get the ball downfield. But like the Steelers defense, what they cost 3 turnovers in the game?
Yeah,
I think it was 3.
That's a good.
You know,
I'm still not sold on Hurts either, right? I'm still not sold on Hurts. So like if you can, and Barkley, okay, here's the thing about Barkley is like I feel like he's been on this record-breaking pace. He still technically is. He's starting to wear down a little bit. Right. And I'm not sold on
They
Hurts.
need to
I
give
think
him
the
a week
defense is
off.
figured out.
And
Hurts has had
where's
some really bad
Washington?
games this year.
And where's Washington struggled in the pass defense? That's why they went out and got Lattimore, right? And yes, Philly had a good pass week last week because they wanted to get AJ Brown involved because all the fucking circus going around AJ Brown, and so I think they went out of their way to get him involved. But I'm kind of like with you, like if they're able to stop the run, Washington.
Okay, Mikey and Woodley seem to like Washington. I definitely
I'm
like the
worried
other
they lose
side of
by
that.
like
I'll
20,
take the
though.
Philly.
I'm-
I'll lay
they
that
could
they
three and
could
a
lose
half.
by
They
20.
could blow them out.
They could
Phil,
blow
there's
them out.
something I need to
agree.
know. I need an update on Mike's Titans. Let's say if we get the Titans logo in here, Danny, we
Titans
need
update. Titans.
it's Titans at Colts. The Colts are 3.5-point favorites, Mike. This Titans is one of your betting favorite teams all year.
Well,
What do you
Levis
think?
has been benched.
well, the
Levis
Colts
is
gave
benched.
away the season ended last week by the fucking running back dropping the ball at the 1 yard line, and then they threw the pick for 7, and I'm like, they gave that game away. Their season is over. The Titans season is over. I don't know.
Who's the quarterback of the Titans now?
But I don't know. I think they might have benched Levis.
Rudolph.
He threw 3 picks, right?
Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
He's done.
Right
He's
before
done.
Christmas.
Right? He's done
Rudolph
after
always
last week,
comes in
right?
around the holidays, doesn't he?
Oh, right. Woodley, he's done after last week, the 3 picks, right? Levis is
benched him,
done,
yeah.
right?
Thank
yeah,
you,
I
Mike,
think- I
for
don't
Mike's
think he-
Titans pick.
Mason
Now we can go on.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
It is Christmas. Give me the Titans.
There we go. Mike goes Titans. There we go.
Okay,
Mike's-
guys, hold on.
we need
One
it.
last
Mike's-
game, and we're going to wrap it up. The
Why
last
don't
game we
go
should
over
talk
this
about
bit?
is the
Tampa
Packers
Bay.
are 13.5-point favorites on Monday Night Football against the Saints.
Who cares about that game? How about fucking Tampa Bay and Cowboys? Like,
Phil does.
No,
literally.
it's Monday Night.
Hey.
Bro, Mike, you're going to watch that game. You know why you're going to watch the Packers game? It's
Yes.
Monday Night Football. You're forced to.
Think
or
about if
Mike's
the
gonna be
Cowboys.
chasing.
Think about when the
Mike will be
Cowboys
chasing.
blocked the punt. When the Cowboys blocked the punt, they were going to beat Dallas, and the Dallas will be 7-7
Cowboys is
right
gonna
now,
block a punt
and
and beat Dallas.
the Cowboys will be playing Tampa Bay with
Okay,
like
can
a
we
talking about?
with a fifth. They
Can we
would have
talk-
with a
All right, let's
50%
talk about
chance
the
to make the
Pack-
playoff.
Let's talk about the
I-
Packers game because this one's interesting because we did this last week and I took I think I took the like me and Mike have been taking the big ones because I looked at that Ravens game and it's like they were
You
like
guys,
post 17. I was
okay,
like,
3 weeks in a row, I took 14 points or whatever it was, 12 points. The first 2 weeks I won and
that was
laughed
one of my
at you
winners
guys.
last week.
First 2 weeks I won and laughed at you guys. You were both on the other side. Last week, you guys had the
Correct.
Ravens against the Giants. You laid the 14 and you both won. So 2
I
and
laid
1.
16
I
and a
like
half.
the Packers and I like the Packers here because of
You're
that
going to lay
same thing.
13 and a half?
That's
You, Woodley?
Yeah, it's I mean
You know,
like
Green
it.
Bay's
Kind
an
of
outdoor
point, you're-
stadium,
you're
guys.
kind of- I know I playing a team from an indoor stadium and Rattler. I mean that Saints team
Yeah.
is extremely banged up. I mean they look terrible. That Packers
they're
team,
gonna
I gotta
get
give
killed.
them
The
credit.
Packers are playing great.
The Packers, Jacobs looks incredible, and they're just gonna run it down their throat. And that late in the season, like when these teams get up by like these players are tired, they're beaten up. They have third stringers in there. It's the same thing with the Ravens and the Giants. They just ran all over them. They put like Tim Boyle in or whatever, like whatever.
Yeah.
So you know the
I like the
Saints have.
Packers.
I love the Packers. I think that's the Packers are gonna come up. They're gonna be up like 24 at halftime, and they're gonna win by 20. I mean, it's
The
that's
the
such a
Saints' run
blowout.
defense sucks too. I agree.
I think this week is arguably for me the hardest lines of the year. I think the lines are really tough. I don't have like a lot of things that I just love. If a gun was put to my head, I would say the Saints. I really don't care. I really don't care about this game, nor do I really have an opinion.
What,
Okay,
No
here's-
pick. I'm going no pick again.
Let's go with
Woodley,
Mike. Let's go back to what
Well-
Mike said. We have Tampa Bay, Dallas. It is a
this
Sunday
is a
night
very
game.
interesting game.
Well, it's
Yeah,
Sunday night,
Tampa,
which is why people will watch it. And I'm interested to
Tampa
see.
Bay's playing good, but
There's
so
so
is
much fun to watch
Dallas.
Tampa Bay.
Dallas
There's so
actually
much
is
fun
playing
to
good.
play.
Dallas is playing really good. One of my best picks last week was Carolina minus 2.5. I never had a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Mike,
And
Mike, you say I'm a square. I'm going to prove it again here by being a square. I am going to take Tampa Bay -4 at Dallas. Baker Mayfield has been on fire. Mike, you brought this game up.
Yeah, I think it's a game this is the game that wins the division for Tampa. They play 2 scrubs after this. This is basically for the division, okay? But I really like the way this Dallas team has played for 4 or 5 weeks. They're playing with heart. They're playing. Their defense is healthy, and they haven't given up. And you hear Jerry Jones talking about bringing back the Zimmer as a defensive coordinator because they've improved so much the last
No
4
way.
weeks, and bringing back the coach. I don't know if they're going to, but I do think Tampa wins this game. But I think it's going to be a field goal game. I have no opinion on the game, but I can't lay 4 here.
Woodley
Both
called
of these
it.
teams, I think,
Go ahead.
both of these teams, I think, are playing the best football of the year. Baker playing unreal Cooper.
He's so fun to
Cooper
watch.
is playing really good. He's playing like the 37th best quarterback in the league for a backup. That's pretty good. With this, to be honest, the game doesn't interest me that much.
Back-to-back
really
roads. Back-to-back
also,
roads.
I have no opinion. I'm going to have to make that my third no pick because I have no opinion. I think the line is right on again. Yeah. But I do think both teams are playing good, and that's all I got.
What do you think, Woodley?
It's funny. The Cowboys have looked really good when nobody's watching, and they've looked terrible when it's like on prime time. I like Tampa because the Cowboys
Tampa's
for a reason are just like they've completely melted down in prime time on like standalone games this year. And, it's funny as it'd be if Dallas would win because I want them to keep McCarthy around and Zimmer because I hate Zimmer, and all my friends are Cowboys fans, and like they're all like dreading. This is like the worst case scenario for them, which is to like get a draft pick at like 18 and like nothing changes for next year. But Tampa looks really, really good.
Can you lay?
We just talked about Tampa in the playoffs.
I agree.
Right now,
can you lay 14 with the Bills the way their defense is playing against the Patriots? That's a lot, right?
Yes, easy. Patriots, like, dude, I don't know what's going on with the Patriots,
but
like,
that game either.
That one's going to 14.5 too.
What about Arizona laying 4.5 against the Panthers? Arizona finally came back and played well last week.
That's a weird one.
That is weird, right?
I have no opinion there either. These are tough lines. I'm telling you, this week I think they're just real tough. Like pegged on lines this week.
I might just win the league this week. I don't think they're tough.
I kind of lean a little bit towards Carolina coming off of a blowout loss. I mean, Arizona needs a game. I think they win, but 4.5 on the road's a lot.
Yeah, probably if I had to.
All right.
If a gun was to my head.
That's a weird. I don't know. Like it's Carolina. Like it's Arizona. They need to win that one. Carolina's been such a weird team this year.
Here's my question. You guys would know this. Can Arizona win the division?
Mike, we'll call it. We're going to call it a day. I want to say this. You're playing the seniors tournament tomorrow in Vegas? The World Poker Tour?
That's Friday. I thought it was tomorrow. It's on 1,100 seniors tomorrow.
You're not going to play the 1,100 seniors, Mike?
I mean, maybe I will, but I was thinking maybe I play the $3,000 satellite to the 25K. I don't know.
Why not play the seniors and make it a satellite? Why wouldn't you rather play that?
Mike could make $1 million playing seniors tournaments the next 10 years because it's so much better. Like his style works really good against.
But Phil, Daniel's not like you. Daniel can't wait to play both seniors next year to get bracelets. I don't know why you don't play them. Nobody knows why, but
breaking news. I think they benched Kirk Cousins, which is just like.
If they, I mean, that's it. I mean, they have to, dude. They're playing for the playoffs. He's been terrible.
Dude, they gave him like 3 years guaranteed.
He's coming off a win.
He was terrible. 11 of 17.
Is that official?
Yeah.
Woodley?
Coach Morris's name, Michael Penix, the starting quarterback moving forward.
Well, and they're only
what are
one
they gonna
out?
do? What are they going to do with Cousins? Like, they can't cut him next year. He's going to be making $45 million on the bench.
Wow. They could trade him.
Nobody's going to trade for him. Who would do that? You can't really move salaries and cover salaries.
It's so sad because he was so good the first 8 weeks.
Okay, guys,
the first week.
I think that's enough. That's enough.
Wasn't good.
When they were 6-3, he had 4 or 5 great games in a row, dude.
Mike, we covered enough games, so we're starting to lose the public here. I do think I'll probably be playing a $50,000 buy-in high roller either tonight or tomorrow. It's Tuesday night. I'll probably enter tomorrow. I'm not giving up. I may have bubbled. I started this off by saying I bubbled, but I still had a good day financially. So I'm not giving up. I'm here to win bracelets, baby. Guys, good night.
All right, good night.